almost 3 seconds. So still a pretty sizable amount for a Spirit Breaker who probably has, I think, the highest starting in HP of any hero.
This mid lane, Lil wants to go for more. Dendi's out of mana here for the orb. Can he get in range of the telekinesis? No, looks like Dendi's a little bit too speedy. He's going to be okay. Seneco's there as well to back up the puck. So Lil's not going to find anything there with that rotation towards the mid.
And still, like, Lil doesn't necessarily have to find anything on his own. He's just trying to force a little bit of rotations. He knows that his middle lane is going to be fine.
Oh, look at this bottom lane. Artstyle, he's looking for the body blocks. He's going to be able to find them. He's got the mana for the Fisher if he needs to, but it's still not going to be enough to bring down Phobos. But so they're managing to harass him back, and Phobos isn't really able to do that much against Havos, but was that ever really the plan when you send a Night Stalker against the AM?
I think even just getting a handful of levels is okay. Like, you get like 4 or 5, get 1 or 2 points into your Hunter in the Night, and then you get 1 point into Silence.
Oh, look at this mid lane VP. It's their turn to try and go for the body blocks here. Try to life, and she's getting range for the shackle, but they couldn't quite
Even with
make
boots, he's such a snail. Like, only 335 move speed. This is one of the reasons why you don't see the hero moving around a whole heck of a lot either. So even with that first gold, he's not able to get in range to help out. But as far as Phobos goes, it's not really huge for him to get the items as much as it is just some experience. Like, anywhere from levels 4 to 5 would be good for him during the first or either second night. First night's going to be rolling around soon. And even with level 3, you can still be a nuisance because the Void Slow is for 4 seconds, and you can silence for 5. That's enough to like just rotate and get a kill on maybe even Dendi in mid.
Yeah, indeed. I've been talking about the rotations. We've been seeing them coming out a lot from the supports, at least on the side of VP. Farm-wise for both sides, looking pretty even. You look at the 2 position ones in the mid lane. The trades are going fine, and I think both teams are going to feel very, fairly comfortable with this early game so far.
It's a little bit slow, I think, compared to what we were used to yesterday watching the Winter Bracket Finals, but given the fact that there's an AM on one team and a Shadow Shaman on the other, both of those heroes kind of make the early game slow. You don't want to try to fight on AM that much unless you absolutely have to, and for VP FNG, he really wants that level 6, like really, really quickly, so not really a surprise to see a bit of a slow-paced game at the start, but I assure you, there will be action.
I hope so. I mean, you can expect it from the sides of Na'Vi versus VP. But as you said, it's early days, and the first game of a best of 5, you don't want to go all out straight away. You want to kind of save some of that and just kind of, check out each side and wait for the other to make a jump, make a mistake that you can try and turn around and capitalize on. Artstyle was making a movement towards the mid lane there, seeing if he could find a Fisher. Not going to quite be the case here as G. Keeping himself safe. He's got a couple of points in the passive as well. He's going to be very hard for the Puck and the Earthshaker to take down as a duo at this point. And I guess that's one of the great things about having a Bristol back in the mid lane. He's a pretty hard hero to gank once he gets a few levels under his belt.
Pretty hard, definitely. I mean, just the fact is, with the heroes that they have especially, like, they don't have that much damage. Like, Winter Wyvern does some damage from Arctic Burn, and Splinter Blast is okay. But until Dendi gets levels, their burst damage is pretty minimal. They would probably need a charge from the Spirit Breaker as well to be able to do anything, and it looks like that's actually exactly what's going to happen here.
TP coming in as well from Seneco. 4 heroes on the side of Na'Vi. They want to go for G. G's going to pop down the ward. He's going to see this one coming in, and Funnick's going to cancel that. And that's quite a rotation there from the side of Na'Vi that, for the time being, at least not going to achieve a lot. DK Phobos coming in to back up G just in case Na'Vi want to go, and they do. They're going to drop the Dream Coil here onto Bristol Pack, but again, the crippling fear onto Artstar, stopping him from being able to get out that Fisher. It means that Na'Vi, they just can't pursue it.
It just goes to show again, I mentioned this earlier, but Na'Vi really respect G as a player because they are sitting 4 here.
Comes around, and here we go with the shackles onto Dendi. They got the lockdown. No, Funny's going to charge through, bashing back the side of VP, making it hard for them to catch out Dendi. G here with the double damage though. He's going to chase down Funnick here. Funnick's going to look to try and deny himself the H's. He's not going to make it though, because Little there with the Fade Bolt will be able to secure the kill onto Funnick.
I guess it goes from not anything happening to almost 5 versus 5 mid within 2 minutes. Must be Virtus.Pro versus Na'Vi, right?
Pretty much. It's.
Yeah. I just think that these types of situations are just, it's respect to G's every single game. He does so much. Fissure?
He's going to trap G, but Dendi's got that 3 stacks of Quill Sprays on him by the looks of it.
He's got a 17 charge. He's fine.
Is he going to try and go for something here? Just throw the orb and the rift out. Yeah, there we go. Pops the charges. And yeah, they still can't kill G at the moment. Just a little bit too hard. The farm for both of those. And of course, at the moment, still pretty even. But I guess, as you said, the problem with this anti-mage is there's going to be a point where he gets that Battle Fury and he's going to be farming at a level that the Leshrac just won't be able to keep up with.
He's been left completely alone, so Na'Vi are actually okay with making a handful of trades that maybe don't favor them in the early game because they're making the supports walk around the map, and that just means more time for Havos to do his thing here in the woods and go back to the lane. So first night probably not going to be very successful for Phobos, but he is starting to soak a little bit more experience. I think, again, it's just going to be a slow start. The supports and VP need levels, so do the offlaner. And for Na'Vi, they really just want to try to farm on Havos as much as they can before anything really starts kicking off. So a little bit more passivity, I think. Maybe around 10-15 minutes, we're going to start seeing a lot of things pick up.
And at the moment here, we see the supports from the side of VP return to create some kind of safe haven here for Illidan. As Na'Vi do 2 up there at the moment, both Funnick and, of course, the Shaker art style there, seeing if you can find a Fisher from the sidelines. But still, yeah, even though it's, we saw aggression towards the mid lane, both teams, I gotta be honest, this seems to be the safest that they've been playing all tournament, and as you were saying earlier, understandably so with regards to some of the heroes in their drafts.
I think a lot of it is Na'Vi testing the waters, seeing what VP want to do, because they did win the series yesterday, so maybe they were going to change their game plan against Na'Vi. So Na'Vi picked something that's maybe not totally conventional for them, and Funnick getting chased down here.
Yeah, he has got this charger available. He's going to go for it. The split off won't be there to stop it, but FNG here with the heck. Na'Vi, they're coming in. Dendy's got the Dream Coil onto 2. There's going to be the Shackle from FNG holding Dendy back, but he still gets out the orb, moves forward. They brought down the Shadow Shame, and they're going to look for more, but now the split off, the telekinesis, dragging Dendy up to high ground. He'll just trying to find it. Dendy, though, he's still alive. Won't be able to juke that one out. Does go down. And it ends up being a 1-for-1 that, well, RP are going to be happy with, and VP might find more here, G. He's going to find the body blocks of Sneko. Sneko going up to the high ground with the Arctic Burn, and well, they're not going to be able to chase that. Sneko gets back to the tier 1 in the mid lane, but still, I've got to be honest, in terms of early game skirmishes, it seems to be favouring VP, but at the same time, you're drawing attention away from the anti-mage, and Na'Vi, they're going to be happy with that.
I think in the core versus core scenario, Na'Vi definitely have the advantage. Like, anti-mage is pretty much just that. He doesn't care about magic really at all. So the fact that he's been left to his devices, he's already about halfway to his battle frame, maybe even a tiny bit more than that. When he gets there, he's just going to farm up a Vlad's and a Manta, or a Manta and a BKB within like 5 to 10 minutes easy, depending on how the game goes. Maybe even faster if they start taking some successful fights or manage to push a tower of their own. But when that happens, the Leshrac becomes like a bomb for the team, right? If he gets caught out and Manta is popped, he gets disabled once or twice, and Havos is free to hit him, you can actually just kill your entire team if you get mana voided. So it's a little bit scary for VP to have to think about that, but as long as they abuse FNG during the mid game and make sure that he gets that level 6, which right now it's only 4. So I think maybe prioritizing him getting leveled a little bit more could be a good thing for them, because I think getting these tier 1s is going to be so important in stopping Havos from just getting that free farm. If they're not going to actually try to gank him, they need to try to get map control instead.
Talking about trying to gank, Na'Vi here with the smoke up, Sneko, Dendy, and Artstar heading towards the top lane. Maybe seeing if they can bait something out here with Funnick. VP, they've got just the Shaman and the Rubik here at the moment. But it looks like they're going to keep themselves frosty, keep themselves back. Question is, can Na'Vi catch them out? Heading straight for them, and can a Fisher set this one up here? Sneko. He's going to spot them out now, and well, they'll know something's up. The pings come out, and doesn't look like Na'Vi will be able to catch anyone out there with that smoke on the top lane.
It's a bit unfortunate. A lot of movement coming out from Na'Vi so far has not really been fruitful. But again, like you mentioned, it's still buying a little bit more time for Havos. He's still farming. He's actually very close to his Battle Fury, so his timing will probably be around 11.5 minutes if he continues this rate of farm, and that's not bad at all. So I think he'll be happy with that. Phobos, on the other hand, as an offlaner, he's still getting a lot of experience. He is level 6, almost level 7 even. And that means that the next night that rolls around, which will be within a minute or so, he'll be able to be a nuisance to heroes like Dendy, even the anti-mage. You can chase down anyone with 5-second silence normally who has mobility spells to be able to escape. You're just not going to have the same kind of opportunity you would otherwise. And we can also see VP are now starting to prioritize their supports a bit more. FNG's been given a solo lane for a little while. He's also making his way towards 6.
And top lane is moving in on Funnick, trying to get him back. You're talking about the Phobos doing pretty well. The Funnick himself, he's found the levels also. And he's going to be fairly potent when these fights do eventually kick off. And Na'Vi, they're going to go for round 2 here. They want to make something happen. Dendy's got the Dream Coil. And he's also got Artstar right next to him. If they can lead him with a Funnick charge, they should be able to find a kill potentially here. It's going to be a hard one though. They're going to be fighting under this tier 1. We might see TP reactions coming out for the side of VP. Straight away onto the but oh, they've actually lost Dendy. There's FNG blows him up. And this is not the kind of thing that the side of Na'Vi wanted. Funnick will be able to TP out from the side. The split earth was hazarded by Illidan, but it's not going to be on point. And well, again, another rotation that Na'Vi this time, they don't just find nothing. They lose the puck.
Illidan's reaction time was actually so fast that he managed to turn on Pulse Nova at the same time that they were going in. So Dendi basically walks into Pulse Nova, gets Ether Shocked, and just explodes. Like, he died immediately. And here come the Serpent Words. This should be more or less a free power coming out from VP, and maybe even a free kill art style.
Yep.
Not sure what he was doing there, but...
He's got the stolen blink already from the anti-mage. So
yeah.
That's pretty big for this Rubik. They're able to find those pickoffs, and as you said, the tower as well. And 12.5 minutes in, I think this is the point of the game, Andy. We're going to start to see VP try to get the ball rolling.
Now this is when they're the strongest too. Mass Serpent Wards are only a 2-minute cooldown, so it's not even that bad. You just go to a tower, and tier 1s, later on into the game, you might not even consider dropping the wards for. So if you're trading with the enemy, you can force them back by killing the first tower and then dropping wards on the second. It actually is very powerful to make sure that the enemy team has to come back instead of trying to get anything off the map, especially against heroes like Anti-Mage. You can actually force him to defend his own base at a tier 3 very early on, because he'll never be able to out-rat Serpent Wards and push from a Leshrac at an early stage in the game. So this pick coming in from VP proving to be pretty good so far.
That's exactly what the side of VP need to do, because 12.5 minutes in, Anti-Mage did finish off the Battle Fury now, so we're going to see Havost with that farming to his full potential, and it's kind of going to put the game on a bit of a timer, because, as you were saying, VP, they don't really want to take this late against Na'Vi.
Definitely not. I think if it goes super late, Na'Vi definitely have the advantage. You're going to have Spirit Breaker. He transitions into a pretty decent core. Know that Seneko is an amazing Wyvern player, so he's getting good ults in the league, especially against multiple melee heroes on VP. And Funnick fought out here.
Yeah,
nice defensive fissure.
Crippling Fear, there's nowhere for him to run an FNG there with a blast to the face. Again, another pick off for VP, and at the moment, VP, even though they weren't able to shut down the anti-mage, it kind of seems like they're shutting down the rest of the team of Na'Vi pretty well.
It's the other way to do them. Instead of actually ganking him, you just crush the rest of the team so hard and take all the towers that your farm rate just simply isn't enough. It's not like Havost is not farming well. He's actually high CS.
Oh, he's going to get Hex. Could FNG find the Shackle? He's moving forward. He won't be able to find it. There's Havost able to blink, but there's a blink from Lil, of course, as well, closing in. Can they find the Havost? No, he's going to be able to blink again, and it looks like he's only just going to be able to get away here. Very lucky.
Very greedy from FNG, though, going for the Ether Shock instead of just hexing and immediately throwing out the Shackle. I think if he had used that combination of skills, it most likely would have killed him, instead of trying to get the maximum amount of damage, because he get into tree line, even with the Hex movement speed. So I don't really know if that was the right play, but fortunately for Na'Vi, he'll be able to make it out of art style again. Oh my god.
Now, indeed, that smoke up there for VP proving to be a little bit more fruitful than the smokes from Na'Vi that we've seen this game. And after that, VP, they're going to head straight into the Roche pit.
They're actually going to snowball so hard. Like,
if they get it with the wards, and they certainly will.
Yeah. There's no way that Na'Vi can contest this. Not even a snowball's chance. This is an insanely strong mid timing for Virtus.Pro. It's only 15 minutes in. This is around the time that we mentioned we should start seeing a lot of things happen, because all the supports on the side of VP have their levels, and the Rubik even has Stolen Fissure. So, like G with the Vanguard already making his way towards that SNY, pretty standard for him. Havost needs more before he can actually start defending. Like, I doubt he TPs to any of these towers after Roshan is already taken by VP.
And with that, indeed, VP, they're just going to head down to the bottom and look for the push. And I mean, talking about the Havost anti-mage, at what point in his item build kind of feel that we will see him start to join the defense?
He needs Manta at the very least. He might even need a BKB. Like, sometimes if you're really hard pressured to go to a fight, you even skip the Manta entirely and you just go straight up Magic Immunity, because it's the only feasible way that you'll be able to stay in a team fight without getting disabled and dying. And right now there is a Crippling Fear, which is a very long silence, and there's a Leshrac stun, a Hex, a Shackle, and a Lift, and plus the Rubik has Blink. So Manta might not even be enough on its own. Really depends on if he feels pressured enough to go for that item, or if he thinks that he'll be able to delay the game and relies on his team, in which case he'll probably go Manta.
We're going to see bottom lane G and Illidan moving in. Got the back of the Night Stalker and Rubik coming in as well down towards this bottom lane. Well, the question is, are Na'Vi going to be able to defend this one? G moving forward, just seeing if he can get any of the guns to Seneko. They're trying to slow this one down, Na'Vi, but, well, VP, I mean, pretty resilient here, just sticking around on this bottom lane. At the same time, Na'Vi, they're looking for a push of their own here. I mean, on the top lane, you have got a Vost and Funnick. We're able to take down the tier 1, and they're going to be hitting away at the tier 2 now as well. FG's going to move in, he's going to try and catch out a Vost, and here we go again. The TP's flying in from VP, they're going to be charged onto FG. That's going to allow the Vost to blink away, but it looks like Funnick, will he pay for his life? Have they got anything to stop it? Yes, they've got the Split Earth. They will find the Spirit Breaker, but very nice charge there, allowing Havost to escape.
Had that charge not come in, he was dead to rights. Not a chance he was making it out of that one. So very nicely done for Funnick, sacrificing himself, but still, Hubbles very far away from being in fighting shape. He's going to have to go for at least a Yasha for now. Not sure if he's going to finish the entire Manta or not, but he is on the road to recovery here. He's still 160 CS at 17 minutes. Like 10 CS a minute, considering the kind of pressure that VP have been throwing out in the last couple of minutes. Very, very good level of farm on the AM. So there is hope for Na'Vi. It's just going to be a little bit rough for the next like 10 to 15 minutes. The VP's team is very strong snowballing. And
Snako going to get caught out here by the telekinesis, and will they be able to bring him with a crippling fear? This Winterwyver's not going to be able to do anything here in that situation, gets taken down. Vos now heading towards the mid lane. The question is, do Na'Vi want to try and find a pick off at the back of this? It's going to be very hard to fight into. The Serpent Wards are available, and I think Na'Vi let this go. They're going to have to sack this tier 1 in the mid lane.
If they see that Na'Vi aren't defending the tower, they just save the wards and they drop them on the tier 2. It's a very standard Shadow Shaman play, because if you get greedy with your wards and you drop them, it just means that you wouldn't be able to get the other tower. And if the enemy team's not going to contest you, why waste the ability in the first place? So here comes most likely the ward drop from G soon. They're going to pop the second glyph. Refresh after killing tier 1. And I don't know if Na'Vi can do anything. What did they do to defend this push?
I think they're kind of wondering about themselves.
Are they actually saving wards for base? They might even be saving them for high ground. That's like the ultimate greed.
18 minutes in as well.
But it's actually going to work. This tower's already below half health.
I mean, you got to be honest. Looking at the draft that the team's brought to the game, it's working out.
They're just going to go high ground.
It's pretty much textbook performance of the playstyle that they were looking for. And tier 2 down. Here we go. Artstyle's on the front, but he's getting caught out here by the slow, and now the split earth. There will be the embrace trying to help him out for Snako, but it's not enough.
He's got buyback, so that's one thing. And yet here come the wards.
I mean, for the side of Na'Vi, if they do lose Rax early in this game, it's going to be so hard for them to play against.
Yeah, I mean, the one problem with it is the AM usually is the one who doesn't want to farm the lane that's worth less. You just want to be able to shove it out.
Oh, Na'Vi, they want to fight back this time. There's going to be the pick off onto the Rubik now with the Dream Coil onto FNG. They should be able to find more. Nether Strike, the bash is flying through. It will be a double kill there for Dendi. So this time, Na'Vi able to successfully, well, defend the base at least. They did lose the tier 2, which isn't great at this early stage of the game, but at least they find something at the back, and they might even find more here. There's going to be a charge through onto G, but they're going to cancel it. They don't want to go too greedy at this point, playing from behind.
Nice control coming in from Na'Vi, not going for a little bit extra. G's way too tanky to try to dive like that. But I do want to mention that VP, when they back up, if you're playing against Spirit Breaker and Puck, you cannot split. Like, you need to back as a unit. Like, every single person on your team needs to stick together, because if the Spirit Breaker charges in and you're by yourself, you're dead. So when they were like walking 2 heroes up the high ground near the ward spot, they dropped a little bit earlier, and then the other ones were walking into the jungle, that's a perfect time for a Spirit Breaker to start a fight and get fixed. So I think if VP were a little bit more disciplined about how they took that retreat, they might have not lost anything. But again, very good for Na'Vi that they're able to get those kills, because God, they needed it.
Vos, he's getting a bit of space at the moment, just walking around the enemy jungle trying to find what he can and fix the farm in that fight. I mean, we see on the graph, swing round is certainly there back towards Na'Vi. And it's a question what they can do with this. Well, now Vos, he has got the Manta style finish, so you're saying about the fighting potential of the anti-mage, and now 20 minutes in, he's essentially come online in terms of being able to offer something to the defense.
I feel like that timing for VP was even more important after having seen how fast Havos got his second item out. Normally, that push, I think, is meant to break the high ground, but some miscommunication for VP, not deciding that they wanted to go all in. Because in reality, that wasn't even 5 members of Na'Vi. It was like Funnick going in, and FNG gonna get caught by a fissure. He'll be fine. But I still feel like VP...
He's gonna throw the void down, and he's not gonna use the crippling fear here. He feels that the rest of his team are a little bit too far behind to chase that one down. And I mean, this is gonna be a situation that's probably gonna end up a little bit differently very shortly, because if you look at the Shaman, he is very close to his blink dagger. FNG.
Having that initiation is huge. It's definitely one of those things where if you get 1 or 2 extra picks, and then you have your wards available for the high ground push, you just get free racks. Like, that's what it's gonna boil down to soon. And that tier 3 mid is looking pretty shabby at about a third health right now. So if they do find that opportunity, I think VP will be more than happy to go ahead and just charge down a lane and try to rax Na'Vi. And I think that's also kind of what has to be their plan. Even though G is still farming decently, you're not going to farm at the rate of that anti-mage. Like, no way are you keeping up with Bulls at this point. And if he gets his hands on another item, maybe he goes back for the BKB, or maybe he thinks that he's safe enough as is and goes like Basher or something. You can just go into the back and pick off the support like FNG before they get to your base. And Artstyle getting caught out. Again, Artstyle, please. Oh,
yes,
nice.
Snake is going to be there to help out the Shaker. And we'll keep Artstyle alive there, holding back Phobos there with the curse. But well, maybe here's where we see the push. FNG's got the walls. It's going to drop them here onto the 3, and
she's just not even looking at the tower. Like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. He just wants the wards not to tank the damage, so like you get the most damage output from it, but it already forced back. Blink forward.
Oh, they've caught Dendy here. They're not going to be able to follow through. Alstar just popping the Echo Slam. Very prematurely, but it's going to be enough to get G back off the tower. But look at this, Illidan's just coming in with the Edict. The damage that's being done to the racks. Now Funnick going forward. Will get the bash on but Dendy gets blown up. Funnick, he's going to be kept alive here by the Embrace being. They have lost Shaman and Avert turning up to the fight, trying to do his best he can with the Manta style, but it's a double kill for Illidan. 3 heroes down on the side of Na'Vi. They're losing the racks in the mid lane as well. The blast will finish off Phobos there on the Night Stalker, but triple kill for Illidan. Buybacks coming out from Dendy and Seneko, but they've already lost half the racks here in the mid lane, and VP, it's a pretty good siege for them 22 minutes into the game.
That actually could have gone a lot worse for Na'Vi, everything considering. When Havos blinked in aggressively, I thought he might even die. But fortunately, he was able to make his way out of the fight. He might have mana voided a little bit early. I think if he saved it for maybe Illidan instead, when he was lower on mana, he probably would have gotten more out of it. Or not just like, use it on him, but wait until he's lower, more or less. But either way, they defend at least their melee racks, the more important of the two, no doubt about that. Their lanes will still be pushing in, though, a little bit. And I think the next point of contention outside of that racks is going to be Roshan Dendy.
Ooh, look at this. Avos turning out wants to fight, blows up FNG there. Too much damage for the Shaman to deal with. And the question is, can they turn this one around? Illidan chasing, but there's going to be the charge from Funnick flying past the Leshrac. And, well, Dendy's coming back into this fight. Avos, look at the damage that he's doing. It's going to be enough to bring down the Lesh. Lesh is going to be very quickly at about 14 Bloodstone charges. G going in onto Funnick, and now with the curse onto G. This is looking very good for Na'Vi if they can continue. Avosi's blinking forward very aggressively. Will get held back by the telekinesis, but again, the embrace from Seneko keeping Havos alive for this fight. He's going to be able to blink himself away. Will they be able to pick him off? VP, they're kind of trapped over here by the Fissure. Triple kill for Illidan though, as he just waltzes round, cleans up the side of Na'Vi, and at the end of the day, VP had nothing to worry about because the Leshrac is getting a little bit out of control.
It was looking a little bit worrisome for a second there. I mean, they start the fight by a double coil from Dendy. They immediately kill FNG. I don't think even a single spell was cast by him before he went down. And all of a sudden, Havos may be feeling a little bit too manly there. Just goes too deep. But also keep in mind, he's more than halfway to his BKB. So once he gets that, no one on the side of VP can touch him. Because the Bristleback is not going to be able to stay on him. He'll just blink away. And he will find the supports, and he will probably target FNG, I think, first and foremost. It's too hard for Lil, because he's always going to have that stolen blink. And if you pick off FNG before the push happens, like, the VP don't have the same kind of high ground potential without that Shadow Shaman available.
Here we go, back onto the push. Serpent Wards to drop. They want to finish off this mid set of racks. And Seneko just trying to force the back of the Arctic burn from the air. It looks like they should be able to get this one unless Dendy can look to jump in, but as you said, it's going to be hard for them to do so. The Serpent Wards will finish off the racks, and that's going to be the mid racks down for the side of Na'Vi. 25 minutes in, VP keeping the momentum flowing, and it's just a question of how much Hav can do. And as you said, they're going to be looking to that BKB before they're going to feel confident for him to jump in as aggressively as we saw him do there by Roshan.
Even being a racks down for Na'Vi is not so bad, considering they have the AM at their disposal. It's just like double racks, that's going to start to be a bit of a concern, because it means VP are going to have a much easier time just getting Roche all the time. They're going to be going for it now. Na'Vi, their lanes are kind of pushed in, so it's difficult to rotate, and they're even showing the Rubik on the map right now. Lil with that stolen blink going to be more than okay. And I think this Aegis probably just goes back to Illidan, I imagine. I think she's pretty tanky right now. Maybe he doesn't feel like he needs it. And no one picked it up yet? There we go.
Na'Vi were charging forward there, but as soon as the Aegis was picked up, realizing that this might not be the fight for them, they are smoked up. They do have everything online in terms of the Echo Slam, the Dream Coil, the potential to jump in, but it looks like they're just going to wait for VP to come to them. Arstal on the Shaker at the moment. He is closing in on his own Blink Dagger. He's got 1,800 gold at the moment. And VP looks like they're going to be happy and content with just beginning to push, and can take tier 2, move forward to the tier 3. They're going to have the wards back online in just over 20 seconds on FNG. And well, being one of racks down might not be the end of the game for Na'Vi, but being 2 down, that's really going to hurt 26 minutes in if they find it. And Rubik, he's also finished off an Aghanim Scepter here.
The Aghanims this early is actually insane. There's a lot of pretty evil things to steal on this team. You can get Charge, you can get Sonico spells, all of them are pretty much good. Splinter Blast, Arctic Burn, Cold Embrace, all great steals. Puck Orb is good, Waning Rift is pretty good against the AM. Yeah, there's plethora of things that you can steal. And it makes him tank here too, which I think is important up against the AM, who's going to be trying to hunt those supports in the backline, especially before you get to base. I think Na'Vi will eventually get to a point where their only option is to try to catch out VP on the map, because if the wards get set up on your high ground, you've essentially already taken a ton of base damage. Like, even if a tower doesn't die or a Rax doesn't drop, it's going to take a lot of damage and clearing to try to get rid of those, because you only have 2 ranged heroes, right? You have Puck and you have Winter Wyvern. High ground, you can't just send a bunch of others, like support them, to try to hit those wards down. You only have melee heroes other than the 2 to deal with it. And that's not good, because it puts you in a much farther position to get caught out by AP with those blinks.
And we've got a couple of big fighting items coming out on the side of Na'Vi. The fact that Havos just about a minute ago has got the completed BKB, and now Artstar, he's got the Blink Dagger as well. So as the game does tick on, it is going to be harder and harder for VP to break the high ground.
The 1 Rax isn't the end of the game at all for Na'Vi, and they even picked the AM after having seen FNG Shadow Shaman pick, so they're feeling confident in their ability to hold off long enough for this Havos AM to really get off the ground and start making some stuff happen. And he's not too far off from that. That's the thing. VP feel the pressure right now. They know they need to keep going. They cannot let up.
Moving forward here. Snake just TPing out in time as it was looking for Earth into the tree line. They found themselves the tier 2 on the top lane, and VP now being able to take down all tier 2s, and here we go, up to the high ground, wards to drop. Illidan popping the newly found BKB that he's just picked up, trying to create space for the wards to go to work onto the tier 3, and he's certainly doing so. Na'Vi, when are they going to jump in for this? They're going to wait until the BKB's gone. They was looking for the Nether Strike. Illidan there with the Yules, holding back Fnatic, and VP, they have taken away this tier 3, and that looks like that's what they're going to be happy with for this point in time, and they're going to back up.
I like that decision a lot, actually, not to commit to the fight completely. Normally, when you see an Aegis carrier with BKB, you usually save it until after you spawn to pop it and have an escape mechanism. So, for instance, you can just BKB and teleport out because Illidan's bots, but instead, he uses the BKB solely as a method to Na'Vi run away, so they just can't hit the wards at all, and they get a guaranteed tower. It means the next time they do that, Illidan could hold on to his BKB for as long as he wants, because there's no longer a choke point that Na'Vi can fight around with their Winter Wyvern and the Echo from the Shaker, right? So they've opened up space to allow Illidan to get farther inside to be able to not get caught out by those AoE spells. So all in all, a very, very nice trade there from VP. And Na'Vi still looking for that one team fight that they need. And I don't know if they're going to be able to fully come back off of just 1 fight, but 2 for sure. And I think they would be more than fine.
Well, VP have smoked up here. They are essentially smoking in blindly as they didn't have any vision. They do manage to drop down a dire ward there onto the cliff, but not spotting anyone out. Looks like they're just going to be happy with trying to keep these lanes constantly pressured. Now Illidan, well, he's just going to go straight up here onto the Rax. He wants to give it a go, and what on are we going to be able to do to stop this? BKB's going to be popped straight away, and wow, with the split off onto Artstar. He's getting low, but Seneca's going to be there keeping him alive. It's not enough. The physical damage going through at the end of it all, and Illidan's going to be on a dominant kill streak. The fast Phoenix charge trade in. Her voice trying to do what he can. The BKB will be able to take down FNG. The Dream Call from Tendi holding them back, but it doesn't really matter because VP, they want to continue to fight, and Havos has to blink away, and G will just turn his attention back to the Rax, and it just doesn't seem like the side of Na'Vi can stop this. Fortifications coming out, but this looks like it may be the second set of Rax going down. They also just catch out Tendi there in the mid lane with the telekinesis. Havos will be able to bring down the Leshrac, but he's got Aegis. He's going to be coming back for round 2, crippling fear onto Havos. Zeneco's trying to do his best to save him, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to lose Havos. Buybacks coming out from both Tendi and Havos. They've got to do something here. Zeneco being blown up by G, getting low. One more cross brace will do it. There we go. Double kill for G on the Bristol back. Havos, he manages to with the crippling fear. G's just finding a triple kill. It's only Denny and Havos left alive here. Denny's going forward very aggressively, but they've got to be careful because G, he's coming in behind them. It looks like, is he going to be able to stick around? Well, Havos maybe even thinking about going for it. Phoenix now back on the pitch. He's got the charge onto G. But do they really want to try and fight this Bristleback? He's got the backup of this Lesh and the Night Stalker. They're going to go for it here. Na'Vi, the Yule Scepter onto Havos, holding him back. They're going to be able to find the Forest Split up. And now with the Crippling Fear on the Fnatic, this might not have been the fight you're looking for. They've lost the Spirit Breaker. Denny's going to have to orb himself away. And they essentially just throw away a free kill there on the Spirit Breakers to the side of VP after the back of that bit of a mishap there, losing a second set of racks and a lot of, well, 2 buybacks coming out as well. The gold swing and the XP swing, massive for VP, and they might just find Havos is going to get caught out by the split earth. And
why didn't he BKB?
That might be the nail in the coffin. Havos dying back 90 seconds, and GG, it's called. VP, they do it. 26-9. I mean, they just destroyed Na'Vi.
It was a little bit weird to me seeing the AM pick after having seen the Shadow Shaman, because it's very obvious what VP's game plan was as soon as that pick happened, right? Like, they want to really death ball, base their strategy around using Mass Serpent Warrior and Illidan to break high ground with the Edict, and, you know, obviously you got really tanky early